Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Now, why this particular topic? Those of you who are into the philosophical background, for want of another term, of yoga, will find that it is generally connected to an Indian system called Sankhya. You know, the philosophy behind it, of Purusha, Prakriti, etc. I think that was a later occurrence. I think yoga is more connected to Vedanta, because Vedanta, the term implies the end portion of the Veda. Antaha meaning end of the Veda. It's a positional name. There are all sorts of interpretations, philosophical interpretations. But technically, that philosophy, the positional name becomes very, very important. Because the first portion of the Veda deals with human desires, securities, pleasures. It gives you esoteric means of fulfilling these. And the end portion deals with what is known as moksha, nirvana, etc. So you're done with that and you come here. That's the general trend. Now, why am I saying that yoga is more connected to Vedanta? Another name for Vedanta is Upanishads. Okay. Upanishads are Vedanta, Vedanta is Upanishad. Because there are 30 Upanishads dealing with yoga. 30. So the connection between yoga and Vedanta is very strong. So as the course of the 4 lectures that I have here, each lecture can be independent by itself, but I am going to take 4 definitions about yoga available in the Yoga Sutras as well as the Gita, which is a Vedanta text, and show you all the links, how one is necessary for the other. Okay. Like, any of you attended the previous lecture that was here? Yeah, some of you attended. So, I'm sure she would have covered the sutra. That's the first definition of yoga. Patanjali's definition of yoga as chitta vritti nirodha. Nirodha, very often people translate as control, etc. The proper translation would be mastery. There are 2 important commentaries available on the Yoga Sutras, traditional old ones. One is called the Vyasa Bhashya, written by someone called Vyasa, a great scholar and teacher. The other is Shankariya. There is a Shankara Bhashya. We don't know whether it's original Shankara or some later, but there is a commentary available. So, in both of these commentary, we look upon Nirodha as not total cessation of the mind. That is one part of it. We talk about it as more of mastery over the mind. Now, what is mastery? Naturally, if I am using a term, then I have to explain that term. Okay. So, what is mastery? If I can put the whole thing into one sentence, I would say, think clearly, feel strongly, deeply, act decisively. If you can do this, you have mastered your mind. It's so simple. Think clearly, feel deeply, act decisively. Okay. It is not training that is everything, it is a will to act that is everything. A great philosopher said that. You know who said that? Batman's teacher, okay? Okay. But he was right. Yeah. It may be out of a comic book or a movie, but if there is wisdom, there is wisdom. Yeah. So, this mastery. So, if you look at the whole system of yoga, the whole system is meant for this mastery. Culminating in total cessation of thought. True. That means what? If it is, you are talking of total cessation, you are treating your mind like an instrument. It's like the samurai sword. No samurai goes with the sword in hand, no? It is sheathed. When he wants to use it, it is out. And then it goes back in. Similarly, your thinking. If you can go into samadhi, you can use your thinking when you need to, you can drop it when you need to. But for that, to gain that level of mastery, there are certain psychological issues to be dealt with. In the Yoga Sutras will be presented as 5 kleshas, pancha kleshas, which my student and co-teacher will be covering here. So I am not going into that territory so much. But this 5 kleshas that we talk about are nothing but your psychological issues. If I have, let us say, too much of pain inside me, pain can come from anywhere. Generally, as an adult, a relationship gone wrong is good reason for pain. And if that pain is there, what mastery of the mind am I going to get? So I have to deal with that pain. I have to deal with my guilt. From simple ones like I shouted at my mom. Anyone here who doesn't shout at their mom? I do. Okay. It's human. How can you not shout at your mom? Or fight with your partner? Yeah. I mean, you will ask a reasonable question to your partner. Do I look fat in this dress? All the men are now. How do you answer that as a guy? You can say yes. Oh, you mean you're calling me fat? And if you say no, you look fine. I never get a honest answer. I'll check up with my friend. She's right, because you're bluffing. Yeah. So one word to the girls as a sidelight, okay? Don't ask your guys these type of questions. It won't work. You won't get a honest answer. Ask your lady friends. So, the fight that you have had from something small like that can disturb your mind. It can upset you. Small psychological issues. 2 major ones: losing someone. COVID time, we all know somebody who is gone. Even though we are not infected, we may always have been affected. 18 people whom I knew moved on. 18. Okay. And I have to deal with their families. So all of us have been affected by it in some way or the other. So the pain of losing someone near and dear, broken relationships. So all this is playing in my mind. These are kleshas. These are the kleshas. See, when you look at the Yoga Sutras, they'll mention some things. They are global terms. They have to be understood in a contemporary situation. Yeah. So without that psychological mastery, learning to free yourself from guilt and hurt, basically, and other emotions also may be there. Guilt and hurt are common because there is no human being who has not been hurt by something the world did to us. And no one who feels I could have done something better. So guilt and hurt are universal emotions. So this hurt may come out as anger, it may come out as aggressiveness. Yeah. Real men don't cry, so when they are sad they get angry. And women are supposed to be ladies, not supposed to get angry. So when you all get angry, you cry. Tears of anger are very common, isn't it? But all this shows that there are psychological emotions that have to be dealt with. That is part of the mastery. It is not part of your... How does Asana Pranayama connect with that? You won't believe how much the connection is there. When you do the pranayamas, lot of your subconscious will be churned up. Because the prana is what links the body and the mind together. So it will be churned up. It will come up. That time you can push it back in or you can deal with it. Yeah. You can deal with it. How do you hold a pose with all this mind going everywhere, especially balancing poses? Yeah. How long are you supposed to hold a balancing pose? 10 minutes? 15 minutes? I mean, then you have mastery. Then you have mastery. But within half a minute, our mind is going elsewhere. Mind goes, body goes. Yeah. So this mastery that we are talking about, there's a psychological level, learning to handle your emotions. Important. In the yoga paradigm, put as kleshas. Now, how do you handle it? Anything finite that you have to do, like handling emotion, is a finite activity to be done at a particular time and place. So, if you are handling that, there are 100 different ways of doing it. Understand this. Anything that has to be done can be done differently. I have to go from here to the hotel where I am staying. I can walk it up across the fields. I can hitch a ride from somebody. Yeah. I can say, no, I'm going to get exercise. I'll do a bear crawl. From here to there, wow. 100 different ways. I saw someone riding a cycle. They take the cycle and drive. Yeah. 100 different ways you can do something. What stops you is only your imagination. How creative you are in doing what you want to do. So, handling emotion is the same thing. If you come to yoga, you don't need to go for therapy. Maybe if you have a teacher who can handle your emotional issues as and when they come up. Otherwise, if you need a therapist, please go, it's part of yoga. I'm putting therapy is also part of yoga, okay? Why? Because in ancient India, we didn't have therapists. If you had an issue, you try to handle it yourself. If you can't, you will seek help from your teacher. Teachers were, funny looking characters and with a beard and funny dress and these guys. Because they have handled their minds. They have helped others handle their minds. They can help you handle. Unless a very abnormal situation that requires medication, etc. Now, abnormal situation requires medication. I don't know how it is in UK, but in States, everyone swallows tablets for everything, In fact, among us Vedanta teachers, there is a joke. Soon you'll invent a moksha tablet, Have this tablet, you'll be a moksha. Aldous Huxley and all did that. The hippie generation did that. The flower child movement, we did that, isn't it? We all grew up at that time. We tried it with marijuana and didn't work. Didn't work. Yeah. So, this mastery. You also work for clarity of thinking. Because every emotion is backed by a thought. Many of you are staying in the tents here. How many of you are staying in the tents? Quite a few. Okay, good. Quite a few. Supposing there is a storm warning, what will happen? I am telling you here. Hey, you're going to get a storm tonight. Going to be flooded out. Like last year. If any of you have memories of what happened last year. What will your feelings be? Anxious, worried, upset. Why? Because you're thinking like that. There's a storm warning. That means heavy rain, storm conditions, heavy breeze. These are tents. You can even get uprooted. Not really. I camped in the Himalayas in tents and face snowstorms. It won't. You can survive. But if this is your thinking, naturally you will get worried. So if you think, well, these tents are geared for storms as well, and it's a storm that has come up fast, so it won't be that heavy. If you think like this, your anxiety levels are down. The Western world knows this as rational emotive therapy, RET or REBT, rational emotive behavior therapy. In India, we've been doing it all the time. The cognition creates feelings. Handle your thinking, your feelings are handled. If you handle your thinking, but we don't do that, we try to fight the feeling straight. And your friends will also come in, don't worry, be happy. What do you mean, don't worry, be happy? I'm already worried. This guy goes to a doctor. The doctor examines, oh, you have a broken hand. I'll put it in a plaster. He puts in a plaster, all that thing. I wouldn't worry if I were you. Doctor, if it was your hand, even I wouldn't be worried. So, that don't worry is already worried. Don't feel sad. I'm there for you. Sounds nice, at least you feel emotionally supported. But what can she do or he do for what I am feeling? Yeah, it can be with me. And if you are like Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory, give you a warm drink, hot drink. I don't know, some of you may have seen that Big Bang Theory that's coming up. So Sheldon, he'll give you a hot drink. Okay. But my emotional life I have to deal with. No? My thinking, my cognition and my emotions, I have to deal with. Or you need somebody who is sufficiently awareful to help you with that. Yeah. All that is part of the mastery. All that is part of the mastery. Chitta vritti nirodha. There is a cognitive dimension. There is an experiential dimension. Your body will tell you what you are feeling. Yeah, to an extent, correct. Yeah, to an extent, correct. Back pain, etc., kidneys, fear, anxiety, anger. There are emotions associated with organs. So that will also tell you. Lungs with sadness, etc. So all this is there in the paradigm. Okay. Of the yoga paradigm, it's all there. But how do you deal with it? Doing pranayamas will churn the emotion and bring it up to the surface, which is very good. After that, you have to deal with it cognitively, psychologically. There is no way out of it. I will do more asanas, more pranayamas. It's not going to change. You have to handle the kleshas. Then you will pick up a new guilt. I've been practicing yoga for 10 years. I'm not supposed to feel like this. Hey, you're a human being. You will feel. You're a human being. You will feel. These emotions are human emotions. Yeah. Yeah, anger also. You will feel. Why not? I'm a yogi. I'm always supposed to be calm, peaceful. Yeah. Boring. Yeah. You will never see an Indian master like that. Okay, they will all be laughing, joking, making fun of themselves. No problems. Yeah. Yeah. So just because you're a yogi, it doesn't mean always calm. You have to be calm and centered in all your teaching. All emotions can come and go, but you are always centered. Nobody will come to my lecture if I am talking like this. You are calm and centered in spite of the activity. You are the calm center in the storm of all activities. You are the eye of the storm. That means you are quite a dangerous person, okay? You are the eye of the storm. Yeah. That is Nirodha. Chitta Vritti Nirodha is that in spite of doing things, you are calm, you are peaceful. Yeah. You are like the samurai warrior. To give the closest example that you may be familiar with. You have to fight a battle, yeah. Fight a battle, fine. There's a very Zen story about this, okay? See, because Zen, Yoga, all that have a connection. Yeah. There's a Zen story about it. The student was taking a package to his teacher. So on the road, on the way, he had to cross a bridge. And the other end of the bridge is a samurai warrior. He's saying all those who cross have to fight me before they go across. So this young student said, see, I'm a monk. I'm just fresh initiate. I don't know how to fight, etc. Doesn't matter. So see, if I fight you, I will die. But I have to reach this package to my teacher. I give you my word, I will come back. Samurai looked at him, okay, you're a monk, I'll trust you. Nowadays nobody does that, but whatever. No, I can't say nobody does that. Because the other day my friend went and had a drink at one of the stalls, that Indian stall that was run by the Gujaratis, and didn't have change for that. He says, don't worry, come and give me tomorrow. I said, wow, the guy got so much of trust for this dress. That's refreshing. So anyway, this monk said, I'm coming back. So come back. So he went and delivered the package to the teacher and said, this is what has happened. Okay. So he took out the package and took out a brand new sword. Here, go and meet your death like a man. Like a monk and a warrior. Go. Okay. So he comes back and the samurai is waiting for him. So the samurai takes a position. Double-handed position. And the student imitates it. Okay. And the samurai is thinking, one flicker, his attention goes off, his head is gone. And the student is waiting. When the hell is he going to come and chop my head off? I'm waiting. I don't know how to use this word. I'm waiting. I've just imitated his position. I'm waiting for him to come and chop my head off. My teacher said, die like a monk and a warrior. Okay. So both of them are waiting. 2 hours passed. 2 hours passed. He's a monk. He knows how to be centered. Okay. So he didn't know the art of war, but he knows how to be centered. Chitta Vritti Nirodha, that mastery is there with him. So, attention doesn't flicker. After 2 hours, the samurai sheaths his sword and bows down. I did not know I was facing a master. That I am no master. I was waiting for my death and had accepted death. So that sense of acceptance also gives you that mastery. See how many dimensions mastery has? Handling your emotions, handling your guilt, handling your... a sense of acceptance. All this, in the next 3 lectures I have after this, I'll show you how to cultivate all of them also. Okay? Yeah. This is not an advice class, okay? I'll show you how to do it. Yeah. Using these 4 definitions, I'm going to show you how to do it. Okay? But this is Patanjali's definition, Chitta Vritti Nirodha, mastery of the mind. So it has multiple dimensions to it. Yeah. So up to Samadhi is all about this mastery of the mind. Up to Samadhi. Now people also always will say that, oh, Samadhi is moksha. I also believed in that. In the early stages of my pursuit, because I got into this very young, like some of the youngsters who are here, I also got into this very young. So you all are doing the right thing. All those who are young and come here. And those who are old, definitely the right thing. This is a time of it to get. What about those who are in between? Perfect timing. Why? Because certain part of you have the youth and the energy to pursue it. So it's always a good time. I started off early. So in the 70s, I also thought the samadhi is moksha. And I had a little bit martial art background and things like that. So that mastery was a bit easier. Because I didn't do much of yoga, okay? Honestly, I'm saying. The asana pranayama I have not done much. My exercise part came from martial arts. Pranayamas and breathing, qigong work was there. Yes, definitely. Focus, everything requires dharana. Okay, dharana, everyone requires it. Everything requires dharana. Okay. So I also said, okay, I will sit in samadhi. So naturally in the beginning what will happen? You are a young man. You are involved with someone. You think you're going to sit down and meditate? You'll meditate, okay? Mind will go all over here, there. But slowly, in time, discipline, okay, complete cessation. So for a year, I was doing this complete cessation. Agreed, sometimes it will happen, sometimes it will not happen. But at least 3-4 times a week it was happening. Because every day I was consistent. In the morning, I'll get up and do this. And I had to leave early home because I was a marine trainee, so I had to go for that, my job. So I'd keep an alarm clock. So when to get out. Once you're in samadhi, how do you know what time, how much time? How do you get out? It's like going to sleep. It's like going to sleep. Though I have not seen anybody in samadhi, alarm clock waking them up and touching the snooze button. Which in sleep you all do. I also do. So I used to keep this huge alarm clocks. And in samadhi, is there a guarantee you'll hear that? So my mother will get up from her bedroom, come up, put it off, shake me awake. Wrong thing to do to wake up someone from samadhi, okay? Get up, you have to go to, okay. Give me a minute, I'll get up. So a year I practiced this and I said, hey, I don't feel any different. Yeah, my mind is good. I'm contented in this thing. But where is the promised joy and fulfillment and everything? I still want other things in life. And yeah, I still get upset with my girlfriend fights with me. Yeah. You think only the girls get it? Guys also get upset. Sometimes more so, because they have to hide it on top of it. So I think there's something wrong in the whole thing. Something wrong in, because I can't be that bad, okay? I mean, I know I'm not the best of guys. There are a lot of sinful things I have done, but I can't be that bad that I'm going into samadhi and not getting anything. Yeah, I mean, that is not. There's nothing wrong with the Atma, I know. There may be something wrong here. That's understandable. Then I went and checked up with my teacher, that. I realized, oh my God, what a fool I have been. It gave me great mastery. But moksha, nirvana requires something else also. It's a cognitive process. So for the cognitive, which I'll explain later, okay, I'll unfold that part. For that cognition, I need a very mastered mind. If your mind is not mastered, that cognition will not happen. So you can sit in a Vedanta class, pick up some of the arguments, etc. Be an intellectual. But that insight, even insight, if your teacher is really a traditional teacher, even your insights you will get, but it will not be a fact of your life. That is why Vedanta says, hey, master your mind and come. And it can happen side by side. So in all our ashrams, etc., there are yoga practices done. And Vedanta is taught along, because our ashrams are predominantly Vedanta ashrams. But there's always yoga going on also. At an individual level, people practice because this mastery you need. You need to be calm. You need to be focused. Okay. So this mastery also will involve certain withdrawal. I don't know. You have heard of the word pratyahara in yoga, right? Withdrawal. So I've seen some yoga teachers saying, don't read the newspaper, don't watch the TV. That means if you are a yogi, you should not be awareful of what's happening in the world. Hey, I'm working as a finance expert. I need to know what's happening in Japan. I need to know what's happening in States, because I'm here, financial capital, London. And Japanese market influences the world, the American market influences the world. I need to know. How can I say don't read the paper? You mean to say I don't want to know who's going to be elected as the Prime Minister in UK? Yeah, I keep track of it from India. Not that I'm very proud that, oh, Rishi Sunak has a chance, he's of Indian origin, but he's a Britisher, Indian origin. No? I expect him to be loyal to Britain, not to India. Why? Because here, he's here and he has to be Prime Minister of this country. He has to be loyal here, not there. It's correct. Yeah. So, pratyahara is not withdrawal from those things. Pratyahara is living your life by your priorities. What is important for you? Cutting off what is not important. Not cutting off newspapers, this, that, etc. That is pointless. Yeah. What about watching all those advertisements that come up on the TV? For you and me, it may be useless, worthless. Now, I have a cousin who runs an advertising agency. So he pays more attention to those advertisements rather than the serials. Why? It's part of his job. Watching that is his job. He's affected with his job. He should know what the competition is doing. So, living your life by your priorities is pratyahara. At the seat of meditation, yes, complete withdrawal from everything. That's fine at the seat of meditation. Outside, other than meditation, you live by your priorities so that non-essential things are not chopped off. Now, who is to decide what is essential, non-essential? You are to decide depending on what you do. Is your relationship important to you? Yeah, then it's part of your priorities. If you're like me, is a romantic relationship important? Not at this stage in life. Okay, fine. It's a distraction. I can do with it. Some of you, you're sure you're not gay, na? I just said romantic relationship. I didn't mention gender, okay? No, I'm not gay. I'm typical man, all that. Fine. You mean to say with fulfillment, it will lose its charm? No. Romantic is fun, great. Is it a need? No. So this is another dimension of your relationship that will be affected. Previously, this is how your relationship will go. I need you, therefore I love you. So love becomes very need-based. I need you, therefore I love you. Later on, I love you, therefore I need you, which is a more mature stand, isn't it? I love you, therefore I want you. And what is the highest stand possible? I don't need, I don't want, but I still love you. Wow, that can be unconditional. Only at that level you can be unconditional. Yeah, otherwise you can't be. So if you want unconditional love, master your mind first. Live by your priorities, get over your needs. Some of you, how do I get over my needs? Second definition will come to that. Yeah. My second definition I am going to talk about will come to that. How do you grow out of your needs so that everything in life is a luxury? Why? You don't have a need, so anything you get is great, no? Yeah. You don't have the need to eat a chocolate, and someone gives you a chocolate. Luxury. Yeah. I didn't have a need for it, but I'm eating and I'm enjoying it. Whole life becomes like that. Isn't that a way worth living? When everything in life is a luxury, come on, a great way to live. Is there any other way of living? I don't know. I don't know. It's been too long back. So you see, mastery goes to multiple dimensions. Yeah. So handling your emotions, handling your fears, very important. You know, the Indian general who was someone whom I still look up to him, he is no more now, Sam Manokshaw, who commanded the Indian army during the Battle of 71. Some of us may remember, older people, us will remember, others will not. Okay, 71 is a long way back, more than 50 years. He made a statement. If anyone tells you, I am not afraid, either he is lying or he is a Gurkha. Gurkha is a section in the British Army, also has Gurkhas. They are from Nepal. Very courageous people. But an insecurity and a fear will be there in every human being. Which human being doesn't have? Why? Fear comes from a sense of loss. We don't want to lose it. Who wants to lose something? Do any of you want to lose something other than the garbage that you have kept outside your home? Nobody wants to lose anything. I don't want to lose anything. I was flying from India to UK, and I heard all the horror stories about lost luggage and etc. I said, okay. Now, if my luggage gets lost, it's more of a problem. Why? A t-shirt and a pair of pants you can pick up anywhere. Where are you going to pick up these clothes? So I also don't want to lose it. Are you scared about losing it? No. But I know the possibility that it lost. Now, if you think you can't handle it, you will be scared. If you appreciate a sense of loss, you are smart. If you think I can't handle that loss, guaranteed you will be scared. So how do you handle it? Simple. In your carry-on baggage, pack a couple of clothes, no? That's all it takes. That's all it takes. No? Where you're scared and worried and anxious, put a couple of clothes in your carry-on bag. It's so simple. No, but those clothes are nice. I don't want to lose it. Yeah, they're nice clothes. You don't want to lose it. But they came to you by some logic. They'll go away from you. Your favorite dress of 5 years back is what today? Today is junk to be given away. No? Yeah, 5 years back it was so nice, so beautiful. Today I can't see it. Why? It reminds me of my partner. He gifted it to me. I want to burn it off. Because the relationship is over and done. Now what? So that if you can't handle that loss, you'll be scared. So all of handling fear is what? Learning to handle that loss. That's all that is there. If you can learn to handle that loss, you're a courageous person. You live in courage. Why? Any loss, I'll handle it. Yeah. One of my friends, junior to me by a few years, is a young girl doing her accountancy. Chartered accountants, financial experts. She's traveling in a bus, Bombay to Bangalore. Met with an accident, lost her right hand. Young girl, 18, 19-year-old. Bad, no? But look at her courage. She calls up her father. She is going for her uncle's wedding. She calls up her father from the hospital. Says, Dad, don't worry. I'm okay. I sent uncle a card. They will discharge me only after 4-5 days. I'll miss the wedding. But I find I can write with my left hand. I said, wow. This is called living in courage. Why? Because you are handling your loss. Nobody wants to lose a hand. What hand? Do you want to lose a pinky? Nobody wants to lose half a pinky. No? Nobody wants to lose. Who wants to lose it? But it may happen, and if it happens, can you handle it? If you can handle it, you handle fear. So just developing the competency necessary to handle that fear. Are you getting the big picture of mastery of the mind? Yoga chitta vritti nirodha, that's the definition. But the definition has huge nuances around it. Yeah. Huge nuances. And if you do that, that means what? Yoga is life inclusive. We think of a yogi sitting in the Himalayas. Yeah, that is when they want to go into further samadhi and some of those practices, yeah. Some of the practices generate so much of heat in your system. Definitely you couldn't have done it last week in UK. With 40 degrees heat, if you do that, you'll go crazy. You'll faint. So they went into the Himalayas to do those type of practices. Is it necessary for mastery of the mind? No. Is it necessary for some abilities, siddhis, etc.? Yes. So what are you after in life? Some of you like to walk on water. Yeah, you can. There are practices that make you you can do that. You can do that. Some of you, have you done that? No. I don't want to waste my life. If I was working as in Baywatch, probably I would have done that. Okay. You know what is Baywatch, no? Yeah. If I was going to, in Bombay only gets flooded. You don't need to walk on water for that. But if I was part of a rescue team or something, then that ability may be helpful. But otherwise, where is it going to be helpful? Yeah. I'd rather learn how to make YouTube videos, etc., and put up my classes on the YouTube so that everyone can benefit. Now, that's a more skill that's appropriate for our times, not walking on water. Though, if somebody wants to develop it, fine. Are you willing to spend about 12 years of your life mastering that skill? You can develop it. 12 years, yeah. Practicing about 6 hours, 8 hours a day. Oh my God, I don't have time for that. Don't do it. It's not necessary. Is it necessary for moksha? No. Yeah. And a lot of people who are enjoying moksha in their lives, but none of them have that skill of walking on water. Yeah. So, these type of practices, that romantic notions that we have about yoga, drop all that. Yoga is life inclusive. It is not excluding everything. Yoga is about your competency, which I will talk in the third definition. Third definition will bring up the competency part. Okay? This is the first definition. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the whole thing. I mean, the first picture of it. And with this mastered mind, you can do anything with it. Because my mind is mastered. You can think, and if you can think, there is nothing you cannot learn. Your emotions are under handle. Your priorities are clear for you. What is it that you cannot do as a human being? Yeah. There is a story, it's an old book by Hermann Hesse, the writer, called Siddhartha. It's a very interesting story. This youngster as a teenager goes off to become a monk. And then living as a monk, he realizes, I don't know anything about love. Actually, those days. Nowadays, teenagers know a lot about love, okay? Yeah. I mean, they think they know, but it takes some maturity to understand what love is not. And he had walked off as a youngster. So he says, now I'm going to find out what love is. So, now whom are you going to learn about love from? You need somebody to fall in love with you, or you to fall in love, and the person reciprocating. Na? So he comes out of the forest, goes straight to the nearest city, and goes into this courtesan's house. Okay, a courtesan in those days were high class call girls, So she is surprised to see a monk standing in front of her. Not with a haircut like mine, with all that jata and things like that. The guy is saying, he says, Swamiji, what are you doing here? He says, I come to learn about love from you. She smiles. He says, well, men who quote me generally come well dressed with cologne and deos and all that, and bearing gifts in hand. Not like this. He says, they want your favors. I have come as your student. So she's intrigued. And she tells him, okay, do you know anyone in the city? No. Okay, go to this businessman. He'll give you a place to stay and a job. Go have a haircut. Make yourself presentable. Then we'll discuss about what love is. He said, okay. She takes a letter from her and goes to the businessman. The businessman says, oh, Amrapali has sent you. Oh, great. Okay. What can I do for you? The letter goes. What can you do? He says, I can think, I can wait, I can fast. That is a CV, okay? Imagine putting this on LinkedIn. I can think, I can wait, I can fast. And the guy employs him. He becomes his most trusted manager after that. Next to, in time. How? If you can think, there is nothing you cannot learn. Isn't it true? You can think. Your clarity of thinking, what is it that you can't learn? You can wait. You have the patience. All things come to someone who is, do you have the patience for the actions that you have done to fructify? Or are you somebody who follows the American system of hustling while you wait and bugging everybody and they say, I'm not going to give it this guy even if I can give it to him. Yeah. Right. And what does fasting is? Fasting is delaying gratification. That's emotional intelligence. So he's got that IQ, he's got the emotional quotient, he's a spiritual dimension. Ideal guy, na, for a job. Ideal guy. How does it come? Mastery of the mind. Chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta vritti nirodha. Mastery. So various dimensions of this mastery. It's a huge field. Where do you learn all this from? Life. How do you learn about life? About love? Have a heartbreak. A broken affair teaches you a lot more about love than a successful one. No? Yeah. Come on. We all have gone through it. We know what it is. Yeah. In fact, when someone comes and asks me, Swamiji, I want to be a monk. The first question I ask the person is, have you fallen in love? No, Swamiji, never. Not ready. Go fall in love and survive it and come back. Yeah. Otherwise, you are not ready. You can't love one another human being. What are you going to love humanity? One another being you don't know how to love. As simple as that. The lessons of love has to be learned in the field of life. Otherwise, after you join an ashram, you will fall in love. My God, you will create mess everywhere around. Yeah. So, life, these are lessons that you learn from life. But for that, I need a learning mind. That learning mind is part of that mastery. Why? Anything you learned when your mind was calm and peaceful. So, how do I live in a manner that I can master my mind, etc.? How do I live in a manner? One is the Ashtanga Yoga practice. Now, now Ashtanga Yoga has become different now. Because Ashtanga Yoga means about, it has become a school of yoga. I think it's a very dynamic form, isn't it? Ashtanga Yoga is a very dynamic form. Come from Mysore, Patabi Joyce. That's cool, yeah. But Ashtanga Yoga means 8-limbed. You follow Yama which is all about ethical qualities in life. Then Asana Pranayama, 4. Pratyahara, living by your priorities, withdrawing from unnecessary activities. Dharana, developing your focus. Dhyanam, the beginning of meditation, etc. Samadhi, fulfillment of meditation. This is called Ashtanga Yoga. Okay? Like the dynamic practice of joys, Patabi joys, is part of the whole system. Okay? What one tragedy about yoga is it has got fragmented. There is an Iyengar school, there is a Mysore school, there is Ashtanga school, there is Yin Yoga, there is a good person here called who is doing Yin Yoga. Yeah. So, there are so many things. It's got fragmented. You do what works for you. Okay? Which is the best yoga to follow? What works for you? Yeah. You do what works for you. Now, what is? You will look at your physical system, what works for you. Like my favorite asana is the Shavasana. Yeah. So, jokes apart. The thing is, all this, you have to do it as a part of your living. So, there are, now what if you are too busy to be doing an hour of yoga practice every day? Because yoga means at least 5 days a week you have to practice, isn't it? Actually, yoga is 24/7. Actually, yoga is 24/7. Right through. So, how do you make yoga 24/7? But before I go into the second definition of yoga, etc., are there any questions about this? Up to what I have spoken up to now. I know I have given you a big overview of things. Some details I will work out in the next. I have 3 more lectures. There's a lot of time. Okay, one today evening itself. There are lots of time. So, is there any questions that you have or any clarification that you want? What I dealt with is very simple things. Okay. Yes, sir. Can someone? Is there a mic or something available? Can someone give him that? Because I am a bit hard of hearing.
I can be loud.
Yeah.
Is romantic love?
Yeah. Sorry. Give me the mic. My hearing is hard. You know, in my naval, this thing, I was exposed to too many explosions and machine gun fire and everything. So my hearing was compromised then. And as I grew older, these are one of the signs of aging I have.
Can you hear me now?
Switch it on. Yeah. No,
Hello?
Can't hear.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is romantic love inconsistent with yogic practices?
Romantic love is?
Inconsistent with...
It's intrinsic to people, human being.
No. Is romantic love
Yeah?
inconsistent with yogic practices?
Nope. It is not against yogic practices at all.
Does it get in the way?
Okay. Anything can get in the way. It's something like this. If I am going to commit to a life of sannyasa, okay, full-time pursuit, then cooking can get into the way, na? Like during the lockdown, we all had to take care of, in Bombay we had a 3-month lockdown. 3 months, nobody allowed to come inside, go out, everything. So I had to cook. Taking time and energy, na? So that can also be a distraction. Something simple as that can be a distraction. Romantic love also can be a distraction. If I am going full time, you have to weigh the balance. Romantic love teaches you a lot of things. To care for another human being as much as yourself. To care for that person's, if you want me to define love, to care for another person's security, growth and happiness as much as my own, that is love. So if there is a sexual component to it, it becomes romantic. If it is to somebody much younger, etc., there is a parental thing coming in. So there are many dimensions of it, but this is fundamental to all love. So it's a lot of learning that I am equating another person as much as myself. I am giving that person the same importance as myself. It's opening my heart up to accept another person as important as myself. If it is more important, I become obsessive in my love. If it is less important, I am not loving enough. You know. So, this is not an easy lesson to be learnt by people. It takes sometimes 3-4 trials before you learn, before you get it right. Yeah, you have a follow up. Yeah. Yeah, he needs the mic again for a follow up. A little bit you will be roaming around. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. Swamiji, if a person is in a romantic relationship, can they still pursue the path of sannyas?
Not sannyasa. Can take the path. See, sannyasa is dropping of all roles. Like in my case, for example. What role do I have other than learning and teaching? And being a citizen of a country and think. But I can't I'm not going to stand for elections and that political roles are off. I'm not going to be a lover to somebody, that role is off. I'm not going to father children, that's off. Teacher-student relationship, that's so it's a high degree of prioritization where you cut down your roles to the minimum. If you cannot follow this and have other roles, can't have other roles. So as sannyasa is concerned, yes, you don't get romantically involved. But if you are saying, can you have a romantic partner and follow the path of moksha? Definitely, 100%. All our rishis were happily married people. So definitely. Krishna, the teacher of the Gita, was much married. And Arjuna, the student, was not any less. You get the point? Yeah. So, married people. So
one last question, Swami.
Sure, don't worry.
In your path of sannyas, what do you pursue?
What?
In your path of sannyas, what do you pursue? Godliness? Are you pursuing godliness or are you pursuing knowledge? What are you pursuing?
Knowledge of the truth, nothing else.
Thank you.
Everything is geared for the knowledge of the truth. The whole life is geared for that. So you can't take it up unless you have seen a bit of life. That seeing life doesn't depend upon your age. I became a full-timer at about 23, 24. Okay. But I had sailed around the world, taken part in a battle, got in and out of 2 relationships. So enough. I was lucky. The Lord sent me a lot of wonderful experiences early in life. So you don't need all experiences in life. Nobody can experience everything in life. Not possible. But enough for a certain amount of that mastery to come in, that maturity to come in. Clear thinking, strong feeling, act decisive. Romantic feeling is very strong. If you can handle that feeling well, without letting it compromise your role into your work roles and things, you can learn to keep that balance between romance and work and family and it's a great learning. It's a great learning, great mastery of the mind. And life teaches you that. You struggle, everyone struggles, don't worry. For the first flush of love, oh my God, don't tell me. I still remember it. Nobody forgets their first love, isn't it? Yeah. So, but that's how you learn. You learn the hard way. Life teaches you. That's why some experiences of life are beautiful, necessary. Yeah. Now, how to live like that will come in my second definition. Yeah. Any other questions are there? Yes, ma'am.
Pranam Guruji. You said essential versus non-essential.
Sorry, you have to speak a little louder.
Okay. You said essential versus non-essential. Who decide? We decide. But if while deciding what is essential for you, you end up hurting others, we also need to follow the path of ahimsa as per the Patanjali Yoga Sutras.
Can somebody just repeat that? Did you get the thing? Because I'm sorry.
I will repeat again.
It's getting a bit distorted,
Yeah, okay. So you said that essential versus non-essential.
Attention versus?
Essential. What is essential for us? Important. Yeah, your priorities.
Essential versus non-essential,
Yeah,
of course.
essential versus non-essential.
Yeah.
Who decide? We decide.
You decide.
Yeah. But while deciding that, if we end up hurting others, then we are also not following the path of ahimsa, which is as per Patanjali Yoga Sutras, we should be following ahimsa. So
Good
how
one.
do we go about it? Thank you.
Good question, very good question. Now, I'll give you my example, okay? For me, the pursuit of moksha was very high. It was like do or die attempt for me. My mother wanted to get me, have me married and have grandchildren and things. What am I supposed to do? So I told her, see, you wanted to have children, you got married. I don't want to have children, then why should I get married just for you to have grandchildren? Is that fair demand? Is that a fair demand? She will get hurt, agreed. But am I hurting her or her belief system is hurting her? You get the point? I am not consciously hurting her. My intention is not to hurt her. My intention is to seek fulfillment, which is part of the life goals prescribed in the Veda. But her belief system is, I must give her grandchildren. I said, my sister is there, she will give you grandchildren. And that came out true because I know her, she wanted to get married, have children. So you'll get grandchildren in life, but not from me. Yeah.
Sorry, thank you for that. But
Yeah.
I am also asking in terms of her mother. So,
Yeah.
for example, a woman is already a mother and she finally realizes that she wants to go into the spiritual path where she has to probably leave her children behind. Now, the children are actually dependent on the mother and she will end up hurting them
Yep.
no matter what.
Yep.
How does
How
one
do you
have
handle
a
that?
take?
Yeah, that's why I don't agree with the Buddha walking out. Because the kids are, come on, how do you walk out in the kid? Okay, a little bit of sharing. My second girlfriend, my second serious relationship. I said, I'm going to Rishikesh to study further. Said, no problems, go. This was in end of 78. Go, give me a child and go. You come back whenever, not a problem. 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, no issues. I said, how will you manage? My job, I will handle it. 78 Indian society was not that open as it is today. But bold girl, she'll do it. Is it fair on the child? No father figure for 6, 7 years. The crucial time, not fair, no? So no. So we parted amicably as friends. So what I'm trying to say is that if you have a child, like my friend, he's a businessman. He had 2 kids, one is 3-year-old, one is 5-year-old. And he wanted to go for a 3-year course to study under my teacher. My teacher said, no, you can come for 3 months, 6 months. But that's it, not more than that. Why? The kids are small, they need you. So you have to balance out things. Grandkids are different. But this is, you have your own child, you have a responsibility there. But you can study, like how so many of my students, all of them are married, most of them are married and with kids and all, they come and study from me and they go back to their normal lives. And they study, come study. So they are on the what we call, okay, a little bit let me handle that, even though this is not part of the main talk that I had planned, but that's okay. Plan meaning I just had an idea of. Krishna in the Gita says there are 2 lifestyles. Whatever you are doing, whether you are a yogi, bhogi, bhakta, this, that, only 2 lifestyles are there. One is the lifestyle of sannyasa, one is the lifestyle of karma yoga. But I am a hatha yogi. Are you doing yoga all day or do you have a job and things like that? No, Swamiji. All day I have nothing else but yoga. You are leading a life of sannyasa because you are exclusive. No, I have family, kids, etc. Then you are leading a life of karma yoga. What makes it karma yoga? Second definition. Second and third definition will deal with that. Okay? So 2 lifestyles. Now you decide which one you. One is the expressway, the freeway. The other is the scenic route. So one is the scenic route. So if you have kids, etc., if your responsibility is like that, take the scenic route. If you don't have that and you are mature enough to commit to a full-time pursuit, take that. So, two lifestyles. Both will lead to the same goal of moksha. Both of them, the final step is cognitive. One has got, includes a lot of life's experiences. This guy has been there, done that, therefore he can take the expressway. So you decide. But if you have not been there, done that, there's some experience in life, the expressway you will get derailed. You will get a tire burst because you are not ready. Your equipment is not ready yet. You know, you find sometimes in the newspaper report, etc., media loves to play this up. Some monk getting involved and, you know, some scandal coming up. All this is because not fully ready yet for this. But they took it thinking they can work it out on the way. For them, it's better to take the scenic route because no dangers involved. Your dangers are still there. You mean to say a married man, especially, doesn't get attracted or involved with somebody else? Girls will then, all men are dogs, no? No, all men are not dogs, okay. Maybe a potential of being a dog exists, but not more than that. Yeah. So, if there are risks in this both ways. A marriage implies loyalty. Yeah. Always what? In a relationship involves loyalty. Yeah. But human beings sometimes fail, sometimes. You go off, then we have to get life back on track. You have to get life back on track. Make amends, make this thing, whatever you need to do. Yeah, do that. I mean, this happens everywhere. In Bombay, I have also been dealing with couples who have got off track. Men and women both got off track and helped them get back into track. That's the scenic route. They are all following the scenic route. Yeah, and I help. Okay, I am one of the senior most in our tradition. So, I help a lot of youngsters also to get on track because they have taken a life which is full time. They can also go off track. Humans. Yeah. So, get back on track. That's life. There is no mistake that cannot be corrected. Yeah. Unless you die in the process. Then next lifetime you will correct it. What's the problem? Somewhere, you know, we are looking at a very narrow segment and saying, oh, it's all here. Yeah, have a broad perspective, everything works out. Everything works out. Yeah. So that is the thing. Two lifestyles. Both meant for moksha. Both will gain moksha. There is knowledge in both. There are experiences in both. So both can work out. It is not that. See, what happens with most people is, many of the teachers you see are in these robes, you know. They are monk. So you think that is the only way. No. I have students who are in white, in normal clothes, and they are ready to become teachers. And they all study it like, you know, 1 or 2 classes a week over a period of 12 to 15 years. And they are ready to become teachers. That means they are fine. No? Yeah. So that's the only difference. Scenic route or expressway. Now you take whichever you want. So if you have small kids, definitely scenic route. And nowadays, how long does it take to be free from children? By 18 they are leaving home, no? Going to the university, etc. All you need is some finances. So work hard, get your finances, everything organized, and after 18 you can do what you want. They are 18, you can do what you want. Yeah, someone here had a question, right? Yes, just give her the mic, please. Sorry, I am hard of hearing, not your problem, mine. Yeah.
You have answered it, Swamiji.
Huh?
You have answered it, she said.
Oh, yeah, okay, I have answered the question.
Hello.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Oh, yeah. No, I think you just answered it. I said the kids, is it up till 18 then? You should,
Okay.
your responsibility, your obligation is until 18.
You have to take care of responsibilities.
Yeah.
Their kids and all are dependent on you. Like for a long time I remained in white because I was in the second line of defense. So, if the country calls, I'll go. Even now if the country calls, I'll go. But I don't expect them to give me a fighting role at my age. Though I will be able to function well, no problems. Thank God. But so responsibilities you fulfill. There's no escape from that. But then when you say duties, no, very often people project a lot of things on you in the name of duties. You have your duty to the, like a couple whom I know is feeling very guilty because they have in India this duty of looking after your parents is very strong. So the mother was alone. Now duty, she has to be taken care of. But she needed some medical care which could not be given at home. So there is a place, there was a treatment center which is residential where this care can be given. So I said, please put your mom there because they will look after her much better than what you can do. Every week visit her. But you are outsourcing your care now. So with great hesitation, this couple did it. But after 1 month, she's saying, I never seen my mother more happy. Because here she's talking to the younger generation. There she's talking to her peers. They've seen the same movies, read the same books, gone through similar experiences. So you're taken care of your mom, duty, but not, doing everything for her. You made it feasible for her to live a happy life. That's what is important, isn't it?